So, sir, you keep having these kind of talks at your end.
Yes, yes. Actually, we have several technical lectures like this, relevant for the combination of engineering, medicine, biology, telemedicine, and such. So we have several, in fact, CDAC scientists who are part of our membership, also as part of our office bearers. So this year, our vice chair and secretary are actually from CDAC Trivandrum. Yeah, we do periodically these things, and this particular domain that uh, IUSoft is dealing with is something that we have recently, in fact, this year, our Exicom decided to extend the focus area of EMBS to Indian systems of medicine. Um, because there is a lot of knowledge that has been existing in the traditional medicinal systems in India. So we would like to see that modern technology is applied so that those knowledge can be revived, utilized, or even enhanced for inventing new medicines and so on. So yeah, this event that we are organizing today is first of its kind that we are organizing. But we have organized several events related to engineering in modern medicine. Yeah, that we are now extending to Indian systems of medicine.
So, this is actually a very good initiative.
Yeah, I accidentally, through several searches only, I reached your website and your product. I was excited to see that. Hope we will contact you again and again for various organizations. This time, I also have shared this meeting details to various, Ayurvedic colleges in Kerala. I hope some of them might even join or see the YouTube telecast of this event so that they will get to know the existence of IUSoft and some way it can be really, really beneficial to the developers of this tool as well as the larger research community. So, Baiju NB, who is the vice chancellor of IEEE EMBS, has just joined. So, yeah,
Good morning, sir.
he is a scientist from SIDA.
Good morning, madam.
So, earlier, sir, you mentioned that you are trying to integrate Ayurveda into the modern practices. So, I had a curiosity like, what is the forum at which you will try this integration?
Yeah, it's a very interesting and often question. My
You mentioned that you are trying to.
so the answer is this. It's very challenging process. We are trying to organize such events where technology is making an impact in traditional systems of medicine. We are also trying to, approach the research funding agencies in India to provide funds for joint research activities where technology can be applied to traditional Indian medicine systems. Okay. Um, for example, AI. software engineering, IT, and so on. So right now, I do not know whether the government of India is funding any uh, activities in doctoral level, master's level, or even postdoctoral level research to be carried out in how to apply artificial intelligence in Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, or other equivalent Indian systems of medicine. Okay, they are empirical systems, but they are long-standing systems of medicine. So, which if modern technology is applied, we might come up with very significant advancements. Okay, in curing, in finding new solutions, and so on. Yeah, to conclude, to, in summary, we are first organizing these kind of events, creating an awareness. Second, we are trying to request funding agencies at the national level, at the state level, to initiate funding programs for joint research. If it's successful, the community or research community will take it forward. So we are a professional organization. Our objective is to advance the technology as well as science related to medicine and biology with the help of engineering. And we do not fund, we do not actually fund research uh, as we are a volunteer driven organization, but we can create activities and events that will help the other stakeholders to fund the activities.
Okay, sure.
So we Dr. Jayashree, are you there? Dr. Jayashree, are you there? uh, Dr. Baijo, shall we start or we'll wait for a couple more minutes?
Hope so. We can start, sir.
We can start.
Madam, just 1 minute, sir. Just.
We'll start in a couple of minutes.
Hello, good morning, Manoj.
Yeah,
good morning,
Alexander sir.
Alex.
Good morning. I just saw your name. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. So,
Actually,
Dr. Alexander, yes.
I am now in quarantine. I am infected by
Okay.
COVID.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry to hear that. But
How are you, sir, now?
Yeah, now it's okay. Recovered slightly. Hello, Lashmi Panath.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, Lashmi. Actually,
Yeah, we have met before on another meeting, but
we sent a token for TOT on a medical service scan.
service can.
You remember? Yeah.
It's
Actually,
a
now
very
it
good
is.
product, actually.
Yeah, very. And Dr. Manoj is a committee member for us. PRC member for.
yeah.
Okay, good. So was he there in that meeting the other day?
that TOT
TOT meeting, yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I was there in that meeting.
Okay.
Actually, around 10 years back, I came to Pune for discussion on IEEE.
Okay, 10 years back, is it? So Dr. Medha might be there that time.
Yeah, Medha Dhurandhar was there at that time.
Yeah.
Actually, we submitted a proposal to MIT, Ministry of IT,
Okay.
and they sent it back to us saying that there is a similar development in CDAC Pune. Then myself, along with Padran VK came to Pune for a discussion at that time.
Okay, so I think we can have some joint collaboration.
Yeah, sure.
Moreover, here also a lot of Ayurvedic hospitals are there.
Kerala is actually famous for Ayurveda treatments.
Actually, in Kerala, there are 5 departments. One is Department of Ayurvedic Medicine, Indian System of Medicine, Homeopathy, Modern Medicine, like that. Actually, we came for manuscript translation of manuscripts, the digitization of manuscripts, Thaliola Grantha and other thing.
Thank you. So let's start now. So
Yes.
let me. I'm Manoj. I am the current chair of IEEE EMBS Kerala chapter. So, as you might be knowing, that EMBS is the biggest professional organization for biomedical engineering, telemedicine, and allied areas. So, EMBS stands for Engineering in Medicine and Biology Society, which was one of the main societies of IEEE, which has been established in 1963. So this is actually our distinguished lecture series of technical events. So this event is particularly important because, as you may have already noticed, engineering in medicine, biology, and allied areas focuses on modern medicine. This year, IEEE EMBS Kerala chapter's executive committee decided as a historical decision to extend the concept of applying engineering into Indian traditional medicinal systems. Okay, there are several noted and long-standing Indian traditional medicine systems, starting with Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, and so on. So these are empirical medical systems which have established several thousands of years, and it is still in widely practice. However, inventing new medicines, inventing a new cure for a new disease is actually not happening in these traditional Indian systems. So we strongly believe there is immense possibilities in applying modern technology, modern engineering, and scientific methods into the traditional systems of medicine. So as a result, we are strongly advocating the use of information technology, software engineering, machine learning, artificial intelligence into these traditional systems. So we will be able to derive knowledge from existing systems, and we will be able to extend that further into the future solution. So I would like to welcome Lakshmi Panath, who has been spearheading the initiative of CDAC Pune in developing the AyuSoft software. I would also like to welcome Dr. Ganesh K, who has been working with the CDAC as part of their initiative in this AyuSoft software to this particular meeting. I would also like to invite several eminent personalities who have been present here. Dr. Alexander G, who has been the director with CDAC Trivandrum, Dr. Murali Mohanlal sir, who has been a senior scientist with various government organizations, IEEE, Institute of Engineers, and so on. Dr. Hemalata Karnan, Govamar sir, Dr. Sapna Shetty, and so many distinguished attendees here. So, and my colleagues, Dr. C.S. Mani, Dr. Vaiju, Binu PJ, and all IEEE EMBS volunteers too. So, as you know, this talk is actually live telecasted to YouTube through IEEE Kerala Section channel. So, we have also audience attending this through the virtual media. So welcome all of you to this event. Now, I would like to request Dr. C.S. Mani to introduce the speakers.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, all. Today's topic is related to IT in Ayurveda. According to the World Health Organization, about 70 to 80% of the world populations rely on non-conventional medicines, mainly of herbal sources, for their health care. Public interest for the treatment with alternative medicine is mainly due to increased side effects in synthetic drugs, lack of curative treatment for several chronic diseases, high cost of new drugs, microbial resistance, and emerging diseases, etc. Government of India is also promoting the alternative medical fields or Indian medicinal systems with the name of Ayush systems, which includes Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, and homeopathy. Today, this task of introducing our guests of honors and speakers is a great privilege. Our speakers are great scientists and doctors in the domain of health informatics and health technologies and in Ayurvedic medicine. We are so lucky to have our honorable speakers in the study in this event, despite their hectic schedules. The speaker, Srimati Lakshmi Panna, is working in the capacity of Associate Director at Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CDAC, mainly focusing on health informatics such as health, public health, integrative health informatics, and traditional medicine. She has contributed enormously to the design and development of information technology solutions in areas like artificial intelligence in oncology, Ayush systems, public health, and finance. She also undertakes capacity building programs in IT for Ayush professionals. She has over 2 decades of experience in IT and has worked for organizations like Tata Technologies, Persistent Systems on MNC projects. The other speaker, Dr. Ganesh Karachket, PAMS doctor, working as a domain expert in health informatics in CDAC for the last 20 plus years for the development of many ICT based products in areas of Ayurveda, integrative medicine, public health, malaria, tuberculosis, cancer, and wellness. He has significantly contributed to train 120 plus Ayush doctors in the use of IT in Ayush systems. He has authored books like Conceptualization of New Diseases and Ayurveda Dietetics, etc. in Marathi language. His areas of interest is health informatics, integrative dietetics, Ayurveda and oncology, etc. Both the speakers are involved in the design, development and deployment of IT solutions for Ayush system and developed the solution named AyuSoft, specifically suitable for Ayurveda and Ayush systems. Moreover, I would like to inform that both the speakers are my colleague of CDAC family. A warm welcome to both the speakers. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Mani. So now I would like to request the speakers of this session, Sri Lakshmi Panat and Dr. Ganesh K, to start sharing the screen and deliver their address. Thank you.
A very good morning to all the participants. At the outset, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Manoj ji for the kind invitation to CDAC to deliver the technical talk today at the IEEE Forum, and Dr. Mani for the kind introduction. We are very glad to note that you have embarked on an initiative in the Indian system of medicine and further plan to merge the traditional system of medicine with the modern technology. In the current period of COVID-19 epidemic, this initiative is indeed the need of the hour. We have planned the discussion, we can go to the next slide, around understanding the dimensions of healthcare and contributions of CDAC in this domain. Then we will discuss Ayurveda domain in brief, the principles and the classical text, Ayurveda informatics challenges, followed by IEEE demo, and some tips for IT solution development for Ayurveda domain. We can have an interactive session with questions and curiosities via the chat interface. So CDAC, as most of us know, that it's an institution under Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, with over 12 centers across the country. We work in several trust areas encompassing high performance computing, multilingual and heritage computing, strategic electronics, among others, and importantly, health informatics. CDAC also houses India's fastest HPC AI supercomputer called as Paramsiddhi AI. So in terms of the health informatics, we can now look at the areas or the domains or the dimensions that it covers. It covers preventive, promotive, curative, palliative, rehabilitative, and so many other domains. So it's a very vast domain, and as a result requires many IT solutions as well. Then CDAC in the area of health informatics spans products and solutions in traditional medicine, promotive and integrative healthcare, public healthcare, standards, as well as telemedicine, HIS solutions. We have also a good presence in the area of bioinformatics. I think you can go to the next slide. The bioinformatics group at CDAC leverages on the inherent technological expertise to provide high throughput solutions and services. The group has a dual capacity of expertise in advanced areas of computational biology along with high performance computing. And we have a large BRAF facility, bioinformatics resources and applications. The team has developed an entire spectrum of tools, so we can see the tools that are provided under the BRAF facility for ease of bioinformatics research. So tools, databases, and allied resources for research are provided under the bioinformatics umbrella. The bioinformatics team also has several collaborations with eminent research organizations. Then CDAC also has presence, like Dr. Mani has said, in the integrative and the public health area. So what we say typically is that we cover a large part of the health continuum, which means we, on the one side, we go for preventive, promotive health through products like eye care at home. I think you can go to the next slide, Anish. On the curative side, we have this IEEE product, which we will discuss in detail. And we also have monitoring solutions in the area of public health, like malaria and tuberculosis. So these two areas are interesting, and the products are deployed in a northeast area. So a quick poll question is, what is your level of familiarity with Ayurveda terminology? So perhaps people can answer through the chat. So little moderate or well versed. Because Dr. Ganesh is a domain expert, you can also want to ask your queries to him. Then we will move towards Ayurveda. India has a rich heritage in traditional medicine like Ayurveda, which is a holistic and time-tested system of medicine and healing. It is a complete system for restoring, maintaining, and enhancing health. We will now look at the dimensions that need to be understood by IT experts in order to develop solutions. So this is an engineer's perspective. For us, we talk in terms of variables and the dimensions. So this is very, very important for us. It impacts the way we understand the problem space as well as how we design the solutions. So we represent the problem space in the right level of complexity, then model the solutions with right number of variables and study the outcomes in the light of Ayurveda driven holistic multidimensional theory. So why I am trying to uh, talk about these principles is mainly because the terminology used is completely different for Ayurveda. So we discuss things like Agni, Dhatu, Dosha, Mula, and what we see are so many terms mentioned. The Panchamahabhuta are mentioned. So many types of Agni are mentioned. So many types of tissues are mentioned. So why we need to understand this is these concepts are implemented in the IEEE software. So if we understand this terminology, then it is much easier to understand the implementation in the software as well. So we can go to the next slide. And our also interest lies because we want to have an integration between the two systems of medicine. So it is important that we understand the epistemology of both the systems, the biomedicine system as well as the Ayurveda. So it helps us to create a transformation or a mapping between the two systems of medicine or systems of healthcare. So on the left side, we have mentioned some classical texts. So we most of us are aware of at least Charak Samhita and Sushruta Samhita, and there are so many others also which have been referred to while creating the database of ISOFT. So good understanding of some of the Ayurveda text also is helpful for development of IT tools because we need to be able to talk the same language as the Ayurveda professionals or as the researchers trying to work in this area. And the branches of Ayurveda have also been discussed. These are uh, the Ayurveda experts will be familiar with these branches. We can move to the next slide. So here we are trying to explain what are the treatment modalities in Ayurveda. So this is also a very interesting piece of information which we need to understand. Typically, when we say treatment in terms of biomedicine, we understand medicines only. But in Ayurveda, when we say holistic, we also mean diet, we also mean lifestyle, we also mean dinacharya and rutucharya. So all these features are included as part of ISOFT when we design the solutions. Even simple things like what are the dosage forms. There are so many types of dosage forms. There are so many uh, anupan or vehicles which are given along with the medicine. And there are so many techniques for creating those medicines also. So the dimensions under which we need to understand Ayurveda are multiple. So here itself on this screen, I think there are more than 20 to 30 dimensions to my mind. So when we say Ayurveda, typically what we are trying to say is the next slide has actually tried to summarize what we mean by Ayurveda domain itself. So we need to develop some bit of understanding about the branches, the herbal, traditional, and alternative terminologies. Then it has coded more than 50 basic classical texts in more than 25,000 shlokas. So Sanskrit is the language in which we interface with Ayurveda. Knowledge transmission is through this Gurukul system as well as through the modern colleges. This is more an experiential or observational science, actually. And Ministry of Ayush is the one which is managing the policies related to the Ayush systems. So under the Ayush systems, A is the one which stands for Ayurveda, and there are the other systems of medicine as well. Then the nature and the human relationship. These are important in the Ayurveda domain. So I think this can be better elaborated when we give a demonstration of ISOFT itself, where we talk about the principles, the science, the practice of Ayurveda. It is based on the conceptual framework for diagnosis, treatment, as well as disease prevention. In the country, there are more than 270 plus Ayurveda colleges with 18 plus subjects and UG, PG, and doctorate level of training which is being given. Then the symptoms, causative factors, diseases and conditions, medicines, herbs, therapies, diet, and lifestyle. So all these are modeled in the ISOFT software, and a team of 20 plus Ayurveda doctors was involved in creating the knowledge base of ISOFT. So there are subjective parameters, personalized parameters, and qualitative parameters. So this is another important difference to understand between biomedicine and Ayurveda as well. It also comes with its own set of unique challenges. So some of which we have discussed before. One is the language challenge. Then clinical data is also available in different Indian languages, which involves again subjectivity. There's a need for elaboration and interpretation of the text. Then there is lack of awareness about the use of ICT in Ayurveda. But I think this forum understands the need for ICT very well. So, but among the Ayurveda community itself, so when we are talking about lack of awareness, we mean the lack of awareness in the Ayurveda community itself. So when we took this training program for the Ayush professionals, it was an eye opener for them to understand that there are so many advancements in technology which have happened and which can be applied to Ayurveda domain as well. So there's also some bit of misunderstanding among experts from domains other than Ayurveda. Then, in terms of standards, also the standards in this area need to be developed. And the other many very important challenges, the case record form itself is not very much standardized. So for development of software, I think this becomes the first starting point to understand what is the case record form which a typical researcher or a typical doctor is looking for. Then the number of stakeholders is also vast in this area: the doctors, nurse, paramedics, pharmacists, the researchers, policymakers. So we have variety of customers for ISO and which come from various disciplines as well. So there is a lot of interest in the modern biomedicine side to explore the area of Ayurveda as well. Then there are many software development challenges as well. So in the beginning, we also had between the domain and the developers team to develop a common understanding of terminology. We need to understand the comprehensive approach of Ayurveda principles, diagnosis and treatment modalities. Then one very important thing is a lot of biomedicine people or a lot of transdisciplinary people, they tend to look at Ayurveda in a reductionist approach. So, since the epistemology of both systems of medicine is different, it is important to do justice to the epistemology of Ayurveda itself when we try to understand Ayurveda. Then, close interaction with Ayurveda experts is also very much required. Creating knowledge base for Ayurveda. So this is an important aspect which is often not very well understood, and also because it requires close interaction with Ayurveda experts. We have seen quite a few teams which try to develop software for Ayurveda without having experts on board. So this is also an important challenge which needs to be addressed. So, like in the biomedicine area, the Ayurvedic informatics also encompasses many of these um, aspects, so which includes the EHR, the HR system, the decision support systems. So, data mining tool, and like Sir has already um in his introduction mentioned that AI/ML needs to be applied to the area of Ayurveda, and we will go through the products here, which also make use of AI/ML as we proceed through the presentation. We also have a product in the area of bioinstrumentation. Then a lot of healthcare apps are also required because iSoft itself is a interface for the Ayurveda physician, but we also need patient engagement apps for the end users itself. Then surveillance systems, usage of bioinformatics for Ayurveda. And similarly, we have a lot of queries from the wellness institutes. They are also interested in this domain and would like to understand how to integrate Ayurveda into their wellness programs. Then training and research are also very important parts where we need IT. So these are some of the need of IT is very well understood uh, in this forum specifically, but where we need to focus on is the standardization, because we do not have very many standards in this area. Ministry of Ayush has started developing standards, and CDAC also has published some standards in this area, but usage of those standards in the IT tools needs to be increased. First needs to be understood and then needs to be increased. So there's also a need to reduce the subjectivity in Ayurveda, because the typical one size fit all philosophy does not fit Ayurveda. So if you go to two different physicians for the same symptoms, you will receive two different sets of observations or treatment modalities to be given to you. So because it is so subjective and because the dimensions are so many, that the same solution may not fit for every person. So it's an individualized or personalized system of medicine. Then also there are different levels of intellectual understanding. That is what we mean to say by Manda Madhyama and Uttam Buddhi. Then there is a need also to reduce errors, to track errors, and to modify the processes. Now, because the availability of IT tools is less, hence the need for maintaining records is also not very well understood, and that is recognized as one of the very big requirements for IT, that is creation of evidence base through clinical record tracking. Then we also need to have user-centric and user engagement related tools in IT. Then monitoring tools are also the need of the hour, because in the area of tracking diet and lifestyle, we need a lot of trackers which are not currently available. And very important, the last point is creating bridges or collaborations between Ayurveda and all other systems. So this talk actually is a way of bridging the gap. So I was very happy that Manoj sir has thought it very rightly, the importance of bringing this topic and bringing many interdisciplinary teams under one umbrella. So now moving to IUSoft, I think it is an integrated system offering multiple interconnected applications under one single umbrella. So we will look at the four applications which are provided under ISOFT. Then a systematic examination tool is provided. So for new learners of ISOFT, this is very important, because again examinations are of many types in Ayurveda. So we need to understand those types as well as we need to document those types. Then investigation, case analysis, these aspects are provided so that if 10 cases, 100 cases are entered and we need to have a research for those 100 cases, then we need some tool to be able to analyze these cases. Then understanding the classical text also in terms of a database. So this is provided, and this is a USP, you can say, of ISOF, which we will go through in the demonstration. Then it is a system which addresses heterogeneous needs. So we went through the number of stakeholders. So we have to give something or the other for all those stakeholders. And so for clinicians, for practitioners, for researchers, for students, so different aspects of Ayurveda are provided for different stakeholders. So we will now look at a couple of slides where we will see where Ayurveda is, the use cases of Ayurveda, IUSoft actually. So where IUSoft is being used for purpose of research. So there are many papers which are available online, and these are the few of the references which we have given. So the participants may want to go through some of these resources. So we can actually take a couple of quick questions if participants would like to ask through the chat interface, or we can go for demo of ISO. We can just wait for about a few seconds.
Madam, you can go with the demo. Any
Okay,
questions can be answered later together.
okay, we can do that. So I would like to now invite Dr. Ganesh to take over and go through our IUSoft tool, which is very interesting. and also the other tools that we have developed which will be useful in this area. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Lakshmi, for a nice introduction of the concept. I'm audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So basically, IUSoft consists of 4 different applications into it. So when we develop IUSoft, we use 20 to 25 basic classical texts from Ayurveda. So there are we gone through each and every shloka mentioned in the classical text. And in Ayurveda classical text, basically information regarding diagnosis and treatment decoded in coded in Sanskrit shloka form. Also, there is information about preventive aspect, promotive aspect, or you can say wellness aspect. So based on these things, we developed 2 types of databases. One is related to diagnosis and other is related to treatment thing. Then this diagnosis data again classified into data of causative factors, symptoms, then diseases, and in treatment there is information about formulation, herbs, diet, lifestyle, and different type of therapies. So on this background, basically we develop IUSoft applications. So there are 4 applications. So first application is Anveshaka, that is data mining tool. So there are some applications already available in the market, but basic difference between IUSoft and other application is the Ayurveda knowledge base. This is the first time and it is the only knowledge base available right now, which is structured as per requirement of Ayurvedic physician as well as research. And even if we want to scale it for the modern medicine, we can use this base knowledge base as a base for the development. So like I said, there are 9 databases. So on each database, one can search information into it. Now in Ayurveda, there are different stakeholders are there. So suppose somebody interested in dietetics only or dietetics in cancer, they can search information in Ahara database, that is in a diet database. Somebody is interested in therapies. So these people will work on only Chikitsa Karma database, or for a medicinal plant, they can work on Dravya database. Like that, as per requirement, anybody can search information on this. Secondly, like Lakshmi said, there are very much subjectivity in the Ayurvedic practitioners, but that subjectivity is also USP of Ayurveda. Like it gives flexibility to each and every physician with give best of the treatment available to that patient. So that flexibility we can use here also. So there are more than 250 different parameters in which you can search on 5 lakh records on and you will get the treatment, diet related data, causative factor, or as per requirement you can search into it. But the foremost requirement for using IUSoft is the terminology. There is very difficult to have one-to-one translation of Ayurvedic terminology. So one should have proper understanding about the Ayurvedic terminology. This is the foremost requirement. So now I just, for example, I will give this Dravya database, means data of medicinal plant. Suppose somebody wish to work on some type of medicinal plant or some area related to tonics. Nowadays, due to COVID, a lot of people are working or interested in immunomodulators. So like that, for that, there is term in Ayurveda which is called as a rasayan. So one have to select that rasayan term. But along with that, there are other terms also which will work as a tonic or which will help to give strength to the patient or person. So we can use those terms also like vrishya or balya. So these terms are useful for understanding. So I just selected 3 different terms and use the criteria or for it. So on this click, I will get the which medicinal plants are useful having these 3 properties. So there are 242 different medicines which mention in the classical having characteristics related to rasayana or immunomodulators. So you can go at the deep level by using different parameters to search it. Like which I want those medicinal plant whose taste is sweet, whose taste is bitter, or whose properties are hot. Like that, you can search different characteristics on that, and you can export that data. So on these 9 database, you can search information. Secondly, about the diagnosis also, in classical text, diseases like say COVID or cancer, they are not mentioned by name, but they mention in different forms or different diseases. So possibly what type of Ayurvedic diagnosis will be there. So this system will provide based on the symptoms and causative factor, system gives diagnosis. So I work on chronic renal failure. When I saw during my thesis, I took cases of 100 patients. So in these 100 patients, I saw as per Ayurveda, 50 different diagnoses are there. So possibility of diagnosis is there, but once you diagnose the patient on the Ayurvedic fundamentals and give treatment according, you will get better result or better outcome. So that is why this system provide proper diagnosis based on Ayurvedic concept. And third application in same data mining tool is the treatment option. So in Ayurveda, it is not that if anybody has fever, give paracetamol or either combiflom or nice. There are 2-3 options are there. But in Ayurveda, fever is a symptom as well as disease. So under fever, there are more than 272 different clinical stages they mention. So if I select fever, along with that fever, this fever may be due to malaria, maybe due to cancer, or maybe due to COVID. So different conditions. So user have to check. Sometimes you observe that in fever patient they get fits. So I select that condition, or patient with loss of taste. So these are the personalized things. So I can search even some clinical parameters. Long tail is there. So just I select it. So basically I selected 4 different conditions for the treatment. Now this treatment or different treatment modalities will be fetched from the IUSoft knowledge base. So these are the formulations useful in it, then medicinal plant, then indicated diet, contraindicated diet, indicated lifestyle, contraindicated lifestyle, then therapies indicated, contraindicated, then some psychological interventions are also there, like counseling and all these things. So this all is 20 different modalities or forms of medicine interventions are given here. And suppose I want some details of this formulation or any medicinal plant, just select it and click on more information. So you will get all the details of that formulation. Now this Amla juice mentioned in Charak Samhita. So what are its ingredient? How it is useful? In which diseases it is useful? Now in list you can see that along with fever it is also useful in diabetes. So one can interpret like that: if the patient having diabetes with fever, this formulation is useful, or even jaundice or even anemia. So if we have the generally patient never come with only one symptom or one disease. So it is a group of symptoms. So we called it as a syndrome. So if patient having fever with jaundice, with anemia, with diabetes, then this drug may be this is maybe choice of drug. Like that, one can get all information using this our data mining tool. Typically, IUSoft data demo take almost 1 hour. So due to time constraint, I'm just giving overview of the system. So along with that, we also have a small encyclopedia of Ayurveda, which contain basic classical text. So online, you can read directly those classical texts. Then also different articles. So articles related to anatomy, physiology, therapies, and so on. And multimedia galleries also there, so which contain different photographs. Like that, now I'm showing the photograph of psoriasis. Though the modern term for it is like psoriasis, but in Ayurveda it is called as a Kiteva Kushtha. So this such thing are there, like even Ashmari means renal calculus. We given some photographs of Kafaj Ashmari. So we try to classify those some of the renal calculus according to the dosha as well. So now in such conditions, like image processing or AI may be useful. So in this way, extensive gallery encyclopedia is there. Then third application is a Prakriti analysis tool, or first we will see patient management system. So in IUSoft, complete end-to-end patient management system is there, right from the demographic information to final prescription. Everything is stored. If we use IUSoft across India, all Ayurveda doctors or stakeholders use IUSoft and they collect the clinical data. Then using this IUSoft, we can have a case analysis and we can generate evidence for Ayurveda. So idea behind IUSoft is that we have a structured case record form according to the need of Ayurvedic physician, and they can use it and compile the data in Ayurvedic term. Along with that, allopathy or modern data can be collected and we can compare into it. Like suppose if I enter 100 cases of breast cancer into it, then using IUSoft system, one can analyze what are the possible diagnosis of Ayurveda of breast cancer. Then in which cases of breast cancer Ayurveda useful, whether how much relief you get during radiation or during chemotherapy. Such type of data, if you collect using IUSoft, we can generate evidence. So like people are saying there is no evidence for Ayurveda, we can, on clinical data, we can develop this thing. Other beauty of this that currently that module is not developed in ISOT, but we can go for expert system also. Like system can, based on actual clinical data, system can suggest that though classical texts are mentioning these 100 formulations, out of this only this first 5 formulations or this combination of first 5 formulation is more useful for this particular patient. So such type of expert systems one can develop using IUSoft. So this in patient management system, there is extensive clinical data, clinical information like family history, symptoms detail. Now tenfold examinations mentioned in Ayurveda. So that part is also there. So along with whatever clinical parameters allopathic doctors capture, like some vitals and all, we also capture Ayurvedic parameters as well, so that we can compare those things, and based on that we can develop more precise treatment diagnostic protocols on it. So it is end-to-end clinical system which these EHR systems have. Those parts are already covered in IUSoft. And last application is the Prakriti Vichaya application. Every individual has personalized traits also. So how to identify those traits? Even if you observe that some people give, every individual give different response to the treatment. So this is due to the Prakriti thing. So how to identify this Prakriti? So IUSoft has this gold standard questionnaire. Using this, one can analyze Prakriti. So in many research programs, the IUSoft Prakriti tool is used as a gold standard tool for analyzing Prakriti. So there are anatomical, physiological, psychological parameters. So based on that, user just have to select the option and click on next. So suppose you go through all the questions and click on analysis, you will get the percentage of Vata Pitta Kapha in anatomical, in physiological and in psychological terms. And based on that, system suggests diet. So which diet is useful for you? So if you adopt your diet and lifestyle according to your Prakriti, it is helpful for prevention of a disease, as well as it will improve immunity as well. So this type of information is available. So along with that, another questionnaire for tissue quality analysis or psychological analysis, that part is available in IUSoft. So this is about IUSoft. So I now move to next part of presentation. So when we develop IUSoft, there is a lot of requirement for the people to do something for common people as well. So after IUSoft, now this is currently we are working on the cloud-based version of IUSoft. So its name is iiusoft.ai. Then we also work on this eye care at home product. So this is another product available with us. This is for the common people. So based on integrative medicine, based of Ayurveda, homeopathy, yoga, Siddha systems, we develop these 6-7 applications on it, like for Prakriti analysis, which gives diet and lifestyle. Then how you can use your diet and lifestyle as a medicine. So different medicinal properties of your diet and lifestyle. Then home remedies according to basic 400 to 500 symptoms or diseases. So it suggests if there is known patient of coronary heart disease, what he should adopt, what type of diet and lifestyle he or she should adopt. That information is given there. Then we have encyclopedia which contain different information about different health related things. Then disease risk predictor. So based on your clinical parameter, personal parameter, system predicts the possible risk of 7 to 8 diseases like chronic renal failure, diabetes, or coronary heart disease, and so on. Then symptom analyzer help to analyze the emergency conditions. So suppose patient has some maybe initial level of heart attack is there. So such things can be this symptom analyzer help in that. And we also have health games. So this application can be deployed on various public health places like airports or railway stations or bus stands or even waiting rooms of doctors. So this product is available with us. Then after that, we also work on the pulse analysis. So along with Baba Atomic Research Center, we develop pulse analysis. So it is based on the Nadi Pariksha of Ayurveda. There are several products currently available in the market. But the methodology with which we collected the data, analyzed it, is very unique. That is why we grant patent for this. So 2 patents are there. One for the system for detection of dominant dosha through pulse, and second is the for determination of pulse strength. So according to there is one author in ancient time. It is called as a Ravankrut Nadi Pariksha. So in that they mention different Nadi characteristics for the diagnosis, health status, for pathogenic factor, disease proneness, effect of treatment. So on that, there is a fixed rule is there that suppose Nadi characteristics are like this, then possibility of diseases or health condition is like that. So that thing we integrated in our systems. Then currently what we are working with one of the Ayurvedic college from with the Belgaum is the tongue analysis. In Ayurveda, there are 8-fold examinations, 8 types of examinations are there. Pulse examination, examination of tongue, examination of urine, skin examination, and like that. So in this tongue examination is one of the important thing because it gives prediction of the gut health. Also, it gives tongue is the like you can say mirror of your gastrointestinal tract, and it is indirectly related to all the systems. So can we use AI in tongue analysis? So the user have to take photograph of that tongue, and then system try to classify that thing into 4 different models are there. One for the prediction of color, texture, then Ayurvedic parameter like Sama and Nirama means based on that gastric health can be interpreted, and different diseases, tongue related diseases. So also combination of all these 4 systems predict possible diagnosis. So internally we tested this application. Now we are working with some Ayurvedic colleges, and we are doing some concordance study with our application. Then now once this IESoft we completed in 2005, 5 and 6. So after that, still we are doing some modification as new some technical modification or change in flow, but still there are a lot of user requirements like internet version of IESoft or intranet version of IESoft, then role-based access to the system. Then they want some user friendliness to integrate some mobile part into it. Lot of customization requirements are there. Then also requirement related to specialized systems. So in Ayurveda now there is lot of saturation saturation in general Ayurvedic practice. So people are looking towards some. There are very nice doctors in Kerala who work in ophthalmology or even in orthopedic, in fractures and all, in sports medicine. So these are the new branches which are getting bigger and bigger day by day, and there is a lot of requirement from Ayurveda. From patients from Ayurveda. So there are need to develop many applications into it, like therapy management system. A lot of people are doing panchakarma thing, but can we manage these things using IT tools? So different requirements are there. Then there are few learnings from while working in IUSoft or in IT, using IT in traditional medicine or in Ayurveda. So first is it is just a start. Knowledge-based development is a constant process. Like in allopathy, there are lot many databases are easily available, but in Ayurveda, there is need to create more specific databases. In IUSoft, we started with preparing database, core knowledge base of Ayurveda, but that can be extended to develop some specialized system like dietetics, nutrition, oncology, diabetes, cardiology, skin diseases. So for each field or for each specialization, we need to modify this or we need to upgrade the data as per current requirement, current diet lifestyle, current clinical parameters, current examinations, current available of food products, like that. So this is the foremost requirement in that. So interpretation of current information in the context of Ayurveda, that is need. So there are a lot of new causative factors, symptom, diseases are coming. So we need to develop that database. Integration with available databases. There are some modern, we can say, database of phytochemicals, active principle, or omics data is available, but that need to be integrated with medicinal plant database. Even clinical data published in different research journals, we can integrate with the system. Then integrative medicine. No, one single pathy cannot cater to all requirement of a patient. So we need a best of Ayurveda, allopathy, homeopathy, Siddha. So that integrative medicine is coming up. For that we need to develop a lot of content into it. So as per your requirement or objective, content will be different. Since most of you are technocrat, there is, you know about the technology, but we need to based on the requirement or based on which objective you wish to fulfill, there is a lot of scope to use different technologies like wearable gadget. So there are a lot of wearable gadget, but can we have Ayurvedic diet and lifestyle more personalized, seasonal, daily routine according to the data captured in the wearable gadget? So such things is not available even in artificial intelligence. Like I said, this eightfold examination for each different images of urine, images of skin, images of hair, images of eye, images of tongue. So we can have a diagnostic support system using artificial intelligence as well as to monitor the patient progress. That is also a useful thing. In bioinformatics, lot of scope related to medicinal plant data. There are already Ayurvedic algorithm is already ready with that what are the targets, Ayurvedic targets for particular single medicine. So based on that, if we connect that with the current protein database or protein target database, there is a lot of scope for generating new drugs or repurposing of drug, or even we can say reverse formulations based on the reverse pharmacology. Then machine assisted translation, like somebody say about many manuscripts. So there are a lot of manuscripts in not only in Sanskrit but different Indian languages, like even in Malayalam or in Tamil. So we need standardized machine learning to machine assisted translation systems. Even a lot of people who know English, apart from that, other foreign languages also interested in Ayurveda. So we need a standard tool for translation. Telemedicine solution for Ayurveda is also great need. The digital preservation, so a lot of scope there in case record forms, also in lot of book in regional languages. So we need to preserve that. because my book is in Marathi, but suppose somebody, it is on dietetics. So suppose somebody from Kerala wish to read it, we need some tool to for translation, also for reading it. That need is there, and health informatics standards. So in SIDAC, one of our team is also working on Ayush informatics standards. So that is also need of the time. Then develop a content developer and domain expert is also important. In Ayurveda, there are very few domain experts. There are a lot of Ayurveda experts are there, but I can say Ayurveda expert and domain expert is different thing. The Ayurveda expert who know, for me, the definition of domain expert is like that: the Ayurveda expert who know, who can understand or who have skill set to translate Ayurveda principle or knowledge base into IT form, or in a IT algorithm, or algorithm which can be used by the IT professional, or which can be put into IT solutions. So that type of, because people will give lot of gyan or things about Ayurveda to you, but if you ask, I want to develop a system for cancer, give me the system flow, how you will interpret it, prepare my database for it. So it is very difficult to have those people. So we need a lot of training or expertise in that area. So that is why content developer or domain experts are important. So how to plan a study? So there are a lot of scope into it, because though you can as an IT expert you can Google many things, but in any medical practice it is 2 plus 2 is never 4. There are a lot of dimensions are there. So what are the possible dimensions are there, what is the clinical scenario, that need to be understand with the help of the domain expert. And that is why we started this IT training program for Ayush professionals. Then frame the policies for Ayush informatics. There is no currently standardized Ayush informatics policy. So what I think is that we should have some center for excellence in Ayush informatics, then standardization of Ayush related softwares, Ayush informatics standards, so that one can data portability from one EHR to another EHR is possible in the EHR which has capability of capturing Ayurvedic knowledge base or Ayurvedic data. So we need a standard protocols for case record, for diagnosis, for treatment, for clinical examination, for Prakriti analysis. So everything we need standard protocols. So even for use of IT systems, we need some standard protocol for data collection, training, education. So at policy level, we need some change like that. Every Ayurvedic doctor should capture clinical data in standard case record form. That policy should be there. Then, another thing is that do not reinvent the wheel. So we already have some applications which are in Ayurveda, also in integrative medicine, also in allopathy. But technology is different. Technology can be adopted for Ayurveda as well. So suppose public health related program based on Ayurveda is there. So we can use systems like Mosquito or MDOTS, which help in the surveillance of public health program. So also there is no need to develop each separate system. Generally, what happening currently is that everybody is developing a complete new system for Ayush thing. Instead of that, whatever available in the for allopathy, we can customize as per the requirement of Ayurveda. So that part can be done, and so that will help in the cost distribution as well. And one of the things is that to develop a self-sustainable business model. So I appeal to all participants here. There is you should participate in the development of some Ayurveda-based or some IT technology based on for the Ayurvedic stakeholders. There is lot of need and lot of scope is there. High market potential is there. So that is why many IT companies or startups should be invited. So for that, you need a collaboration with different education institutes, research institutes, hospitals, and transfer of technology is there. So many people are interested in IUSoft for using knowledge base because it is well validated, developed with the experts from across India, all experts participate, many experts participate into it. So there is very authentic knowledge base of Ayurveda is there with IUSoft. So people are also interested in that. So for your information, just I'm giving you brief information about, we also working on AI in oncology. So we are developing some AI based or machine learning tools for breast cancer and ovarian cancer. Then another Mosquit is the malaria surveillance system. It is developed in collaboration with Regional Medical Research Center from ICMR. So it contains all the parts are related to malaria surveillance. So we called it as an integrated surveillance system. That application is also developed by us. Then also MDOT Plus is for TB monitoring system. So already there is a system in the government is working on, Nikshay system is there, but from the patient level, we develop this MDOT system. So thanks for patient hearing. If you have any query, we can discuss. And thanks for giving us opportunity to present our work.
Thank you, Dr. Ganesh and Dr. Lakshmi for this very interesting lecture and explaining the IUSoft tool. So it was very illuminating, because I was not aware that these capabilities were there. I assume the audience also may have benefited from that. So I had some questions which I have posted in the chat box. There may be other questions from other audience. So if there are any further questions, any questions from the audience, please feel free to ask the speakers now.
So we can take a few questions from the chat box which sir you have posted.
Please.
Is the
Yes.
standardization of description of terminologies available as a document for distribution? So actually Ministry of Ayush has this Namaste portal, so which you can visit. They have attempted to standardize quite many terminologies. So you'll find some description in the Namaste portal.
Okay.
Then,
So,
yes,
the reason I am asking, madam, I was asking this particular question because there is a clear need to disseminate such a documentation to all the concerned stakeholders like Ayurveda medical colleges and Ayurveda hospitals and so on. So this national standardization is a very, very important thing for making any serious progress in this. So in case if you have that link to that, please feel free to send us later so that we'll it through our channels. Thank you.
yeah, so we can share. So Ganesh, you can just post the link there, and we can also send it through email later. Then the other question you posted is how we can improve the situation of standardized case record form across all Ayurveda colleges in India. So I think this question is largely handled through the demonstration of IUSoft itself. So IUSoft is an attempt to standardize this case record form. So one can go through either ISOFT, or you can also discuss with us individually. There are other, like Ganesh also mentioned, startups can design such forms in consultation with the Ayurveda physicians as well. So this is being used by a lot of institutes, and can be used as a gold standard, similar to the Prakriti. Then is it possible to develop protocols defined by conducting clinical trials or their equivalent in Ayurveda research? So I think Ganesh, can you take this one?
Yes, it is very much possible. There are already some clinical tools or some tools are available for developing protocol. And in IUSoft as well, we have step-by-step thing. Like first thing is case record form according to demographic information as per EHR standards. Then diagnostic information also there are different clinical examinations. So what people are doing currently is that they are using Ayurveda knowledge base. Along with that, they are also using the current research standards. So these research standards are not belong only to allopathy people. For example, pain for standardizing pain. Pain scale is there, or suppose you're using quality of life. So there are quality of life questionnaires are there. So we can integrate these different type of assessment or outcome parameters standardized, which are already there. So it is very much easy, but as per the requirement, this protocol will change. So as a IT, as a domain expert, what I expect from the technical people is that we should have some framework in which people can develop their own protocol. So they can have a suppose I want their list or radio button or like that drop down list, or what should be the flow of these things. Then suppose on giving this input, I want to block something. So like that, as per my case, my clinical trial requirement, I can customize that case record form or clinical record form.
So here, sir, I would like to add that the epistemology of Ayurveda and epistemology of biomedicine, they are different. So we should not try to equate the two. So we should try to have understanding of the epistemology of Ayurveda itself and parallelly have the protocol for the modern medicine, and then attempt to sit together with the experts of Ayurveda and see how we can uh, attain a common understanding regarding the outcomes of the clinical trial, because measuring outcome itself is a challenge in trying to analyze the uh, outcome of the clinical trial from Ayurveda perspective as well as from the biomedicine perspective. So close collaboration with the Ayurveda experts and understanding of epistemology of Ayurveda by the modern medicine perspective is required. And most importantly, should not try to equate, because then again it becomes a reductionist kind of approach. Then you have asked what are the ways for biomedical engineering or biomedical electronics domain to help improve Ayurveda system of treatment. So this is a very pressing need for Ayurveda actually, which you have identified. And we have given demonstration of one system, which is the pulse analysis or Nadi Pariksha. And like Ganesh has also indicated during that discussion, that there are several AI-based tools which need to be developed in this area for the tenfold examination can be covered under this domain. And we have also demonstrated a prototype for tongue analysis. So on similar lines, a lot of instrumentation can be developed for Ayurveda. This is really diagnostic tools are lacking in a big way. So similar to the fact that the moment a patient goes to a allopathic or a biomedicine doctor, he immediately feels good that some blood pressure is taken. But on the other hand, when we go to a Ayurveda physician, he just does a nadi pariksha and with the hand, and there is no objectivity to this observation that he makes. So biomedical domain needs to come in a big way for Ayurveda. That is for sure. Then how can the government and private Ayush hospitals can get the software? Is there any payment involved? Yeah, so actually payment is involved, and we have this IEEE dash support. So if you can drop a mail at this email ID, then we will give you all the information. So for the complete suite of the software is about 17,000 rupees. And similarly for the eye care, so you can always talk at ISOFT dash support at cdac.in. Then how researchers can obtain the clinical data sets developed by CDAC. So actually CDAC is not involved in the development of clinical data sets per se. So CDAC is not the owner of data sets. The data lies with the institutions which are collaborating with CDAC or actually purchasing this software and generating that data for their research purpose. CDAC does not have any data sets as of now. But this is also another very, very pressing area where we need to develop a culture for, like, we get a lot of data sets, Western data sets for free download. So culture definitely we need to develop for Ayurveda data sets as well. So there is a need for developing a system where people will be able to donate those data sets for the researchers. So that system requirement is definitely there. So we are also part of a large consortium which is called as ADTP, Ayurveda Developmental Therapeutics Program. So under this program, there are a lot of discussions which happen, and it's again a voluntary effort like IEEE, where these efforts have been discussed at length.
Okay, thank you, madam. Any further questions from the audience?
Madam, I have a small question on that. Actually, Dr. Ganesh was explaining about that dictionary and all. It could be showing some protocol, some treatment or something. It is searchable. Whether that is available for common public also for knowing about those things.
You, Ganesh, want to take that?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually, that application called as a Anveshak. So there are in IUSoft generally we say sell four parts are there. One is data mining tool. So that is it contains all Ayurvedic knowledge base. Second is Prakruti application, which contains 3 questionnaires for psychological analysis, physiological analysis, physical analysis, and third, body tissue analysis. So if you are interested in Ayurveda knowledge base, then that Anveshaka is useful. It costs around 5,000 plus thing, but it is useful for any researcher or person who is interested in Ayurvedic knowledge base.
Why
And
I
one
asked
more
about
thing to add to that is as a web API. So if other developers want to use the knowledge base, then it is possible to purchase it as a microservice.
Mhm.
So that option also we have developed. We have not yet started proliferation of that concept, but there is a great requirement where people say that we want to integrate it with our own website, with our own mobile apps. So that provisioning is possible through the microservices architecture.
do you find any difference between the Ayurveda protocols in or treatment procedure in North India and South India, or both are same?
No, actually, there is lot of difference in the conceptual or in the interpretation part, we can say. Basically, in North India, we do not use too much therapies, but in Kerala or in South India, they develop it very more properly or precisely. So standardized the procedures are there, and they actually do lot of things which are closely mentioned, which are mentioned in classical text. So their procedures are more close to the classical text. And secondly, the credit goes to South India for that. Basically, they use this treatment for many critical eye diseases, also for orthopedic thing, for sports medicine. So a lot of things are there. So many people from Maharashtra also used to visit Kerala for these things. But sometimes it may happen that for each patient, it is not necessary to go through all procedures every time. So sometimes simple medicine can be given to it. So there are everything has 2 dimensions. So this is the thing.
One last question, whether it only the software is looking into Ayurveda or other medicines like Siddha or Unani, anything is covered under this software?
In IUSoft, it is based only on Ayurveda, but the other product which we showed to you is eye care at home. It is based on Siddha, then Ayurveda, Yoga, and homeopathy. Secondly, the important book for Siddha medicine is the Sahasrayog Sangraha. It contains formulations, more than 1,200 formulations. So we integrated those formulations in IUSoft as well.
I care also payment based only, isn't it?
Yeah, it cost around 6,000.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, if there are no further questions, I would like to show a virtual memento on screen for our way of thanking the speakers for delivering this excellent talk. So here is a memento, virtual memento. Please consider and accept it virtually. So. Can you see these virtual mementos?
Yeah, yeah, we're able to see.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
So now,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I would like to invite Dr. Janardhanan, former professor in IIT Calicut, who has kindly agreed to extend the vote of thanks to the speakers. So Janardhanan.
Okay, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Namaste to all. Respected chairman of today's meeting, distinguished speakers of the day, knowledgeable organizers of IEEE, august audience of today's function, dear volunteers and students, ladies and gentlemen. We all know that Ayurveda is a precious gift to humanity from the ancient days. It has come from the ancient days. Whereas information technology or IT is a highly valuable gift of modern times to humanity. And combining these two will extremely be useful for human beings for the healthcare purposes, especially for the health. You know that health is first, health is most important, And CEDAC is attempting to develop useful products in this field. And let us all hope that their sincere efforts will be really fruitful and we all will be benefiting by the software products in Ayurveda like AyuSoft. So just I wanted to make an observation only. Actually, my duty is to thank the people here, especially the speakers. So let me come to my duty of giving vote of thanks. First of all, on behalf of IEEE Kerala Section and IEEE LMAC and IEEE EMBS, let me express my profound thanks to Srimati Lakshmi Panat for her efforts for making us clearly aware of IUSoft. What is IUSoft? She, in her few slides and her nice explanation, she has done it nicely and almost, I should say, perfectly, even though it is an online meeting. She has succeeded in enlightening all of us on the importance of the software product in the healthcare domain. Thank you, madam, for your valuable efforts. Next, let me express my sincere thanks to Dr. Ganesh K for his sincere and effective efforts for enlightening on image usage of IT in Ayurveda like IUSoft and other products. So he being a doctor, he has made it very clear to all of us that the importance of Ayurveda as well as the importance of informatics, connecting informatics with Ayurveda. Thank you, doctor, for your remarkable attempts in the novel field.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now, you know that this function is one of the series lectures and is being organized by this ELBS Society, and Dr. Manoj is taking the extreme effort and care for making it a success. And I thank Dr. Manoj on behalf of IEEE section and IEEE LMAC and all that for his valuable efforts. And other organizations are also there. And let me thank all of them, the volunteers, the students, and general audience. And we have got some other dignitaries also here, like Manoj already mentioned, Govamar sir, Alexander sir, and Dr. C.S. Mani, and Muridhar sir, etc. So I thank all of them, and I once again thank all those who are associated with this and with today's meeting, and who contributed to make it a grand success. I thank all of you once again. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining. So we'll be in touch with Dr. Ganesh and Lakshmi for any further activities of ours. I see a lot of possibilities in this direction. So with your permission, let me announce that we are coming to a close of the function. Thank you all once again for joining.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.